Alrighty, parents, let's get started with today. So first off, I want to thank all of you for coming to this. I know coming in on a Saturday is something that is tough to do. I know Saturdays are a day off, but we are a wholesome family. We believe in growth, and we believe in growth whenever we can get it. So I really appreciate all of you being here. Now, one of the biggest things that we all talk about, and I know that I've had this conversation with all of you in our enrollment conferences or whenever we have our parent-teacher conferences, is that you always say that you want your kids to speak more confidently. You want them to communicate better with you. You want them to have these skills to really grow in their own lives. And a lot of you know me, and you also know that I don't refer very often. I don't tell you guys that, hey, like you guys should go to this program or this program, because I want to make sure that I'm only directing you guys in the directions that are really going to help your kids. As we all know, there's a lot of programs out there for kids. There's a lot of different types of learning centers and a lot of different types of coding schools and debate schools and public speaking places. But the thing that really separates people is the people that see it as just a business versus the people that are actually passionate about this. So today, I would really like to introduce all of you to Vicky. She is the founder of Finesse Academy, and she has joined us today to talk to us about how to help your children grow their confidence in their speaking, in their communication skills, so that way they're more confident in life. Now, I know that we focus on math and English here, and we focus on growing your kids' confidence and helping them enjoy the process of learning. And something that I think is a core pillar in our children's development is their confidence. And this is something that Vidhi really stands by and really helps to help improve your children's confidence when it comes to school and in life. I was a judge at one of Vidhi's speech competitions just last month. That was last month, Vidhi, right?
Yes,
Yes.
December 12th.
December 12th, yes. I was a judge at one of her speaking competitions, and there were over 300 children that participated in that, in the speaking part of it. But I think there was over 600 in total, right? With all the different,
Yeah,
yeah,
640. Yeah.
yeah, with all the different programs and everything that they had going on that day. And to hear these children speak so confidently, I was blown away throughout my entire judging experience. I've never heard kids speak with so much enthusiasm, so much passion, and about topics that were just so out of their field. Kids were talking about getting transplants and the benefits of that. And what was the foundation that it was for?
This was for Gift of Life Foundation in Michigan.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so all the students really spoke about the different benefits of getting organ transplants and all these things. And these were just kids speaking about these things. So it was a really awesome experience to be a part of and see this. So I'm going to stop my talking and I'm going to introduce Vidhi to all of you guys, and we are going to get started with our program for today. So parents, a couple of things before we get started. So make sure that you guys keep your mics on mute. We want to make sure that we're all able to hear everything that Vidhi has to say. And also make sure you guys have the parent guide printed out or have a pen and paper handy. Definitely take notes throughout this entire seminar, and make sure you guys close out distractions for the next 90 minutes. When I say quality, Vidhi's program is quality. She is really helping to grow students' confidence levels and really help them speak more clearly, communicate more effectively, and really help them grow. And if you really want this for your children, if you really want to see that benefit in your children, please close out all distractions for the next 90 minutes, close the door, turn off Netflix, put your phone away. I put my phones away into a different room. So please go ahead and do that. So let's get started. All right. So here we have Vidhi. Vidhi, I'm going to spotlight our videos so everyone can see us nice and clearly.
Sure.
Okay, add spotlight. There we go. Can everybody see us clearly? Yeah? Okay. Let's get started. Make sure. So the way that today is going to work is that first Vidya and I are going to have a little bit of an interview and a conversation about her program and how everything works. After that, she'll go into her Finesse Academy and she'll speak about how her academy is really helping children grow. After that, you guys will also be hearing some parent testimonials from parents just like you on how Finesse Academy has really helped them grow and improve. And then at the end, we'll do a Q&A for all of you. That's when you guys can ask all the questions that you have for Vidhi, and we'll continue and after that, we'll end our seminar together today. So Vidhi, thank you so much for joining this. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking to our entire Wholesome family here. Something that I do have to say about our Wholesome family is that they are all very curious parents. They're also very hardworking and recognize that it also takes their growth to help their kids grow. And that's something that I'm really, really proud of with our Wholesome community, because I can't ask for anything more, you know, and they're such an awesome group of parents and they're so willing to help their kids grow. So I'm really excited that you're here, because I know that our fundamentals and our principles really line up together. And that's why I'm so happy with meeting you today and sharing your story with our Wholesome family. So Vidhi, tell us a little bit about yourselves. I know that we've spoken a bit, but how did you really get started with your program?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to thank each and every parent from the Wholesome family for making time this Saturday morning and, giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you. And big thanks to Sunny for all the coordination and the effort he's put in to bring me here. So it's been an interesting journey. Like he's introduced, my name is Vidhi Ghosalkar, and I started Finesse Academy in 1998 in Bombay, which is now, of course, Mumbai. And it's interesting. I'm an MBA from back home, and it was a coincidence that I got into training, and it was something that I had never thought I would do, and which is something that got me thinking that maybe I want to kind of give up my job and dive more into this, because I could see that this was something that got me excited. And that's how Finesse Academy came in, and I started my journey with training professionals. I did a lot of work for huge, multinationals and corporations there. And the goal there was to give all these professionals a little handholding and support in building up their confidence in their communication skills. Of course, they were all qualified, but a lot of them, the challenge was that, they came from vernacular, backgrounds where they didn't go to an English medium. So English was a worry. Being able to speak at interviews was a worry. Many of them were holding themselves back because they were like, I don't know if I offer enough. Is this, something that a job or a position that I'm applying for is looking at. And at that time in 1998, something like, a life skills program or a personality development program was absolutely unheard of. So it was quite a struggle, but in about 6 months' time, we got the ball rolling. People realized that, you could take a little handholding and support to polish up your skills, get that confidence, make sure your self-esteem is in place. And that's how, the journey for Finesse Academy started. In 2000, I came to the United States, and I was a little worried because I'm like, I've got all this established, and now I'm coming to a completely different country. I came here with my 2-month-old and took some time settling down. And with some references, I was able to get back into corporate training here in Michigan. And by the way, I'm based, in Troy, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit. And as I was doing this, there were a few parents who approached me and said, Vidhi, have you ever considered doing this for our kids? And I'm like, do our kids need this? They're like, absolutely, Vidhi. Our kids need it as much as we do. And I was a little confused because, I've not done any kind of, formal schooling here. And I said, I really need to think about this. That is when I took some time off and I shadowed some of the best middle and high schools here. And I said, let's look into this. And something that I noticed was we have all these amazing kids, who have all the information thanks to all the great technology update that we have, that just at a touch of a button, there is all this information that is open to these kids. So information was not a problem. In fact, every child that I could see was kind of ahead of the pace when it came to math and English. And, they were all kind of reading all these wonderful magazines that their, parents were subscribing for. But in a given classroom, a lot of times I could see the child wanted to put his hand up when there was a question, and they were like, no, wait a second, let me think about it a little bit more. Again, the hand would go up, again, it kind of went down. And by then, somebody has already answered, and it's the same response this kid was going to give. And he's like, oh boy, this was the same thing I was going to say. And I'm like, exactly. This is the gap that I started noticing, where students knew the answers, they knew exactly what they wanted to say, but there was something that was holding them back, which is where I put a program together with lots and lots of research, and put a program together for preteens and teens. And that's how Finesse Academy began its journey, not just from training professionals, but for our younger population.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Vidhi. I think something that really stood out to me that you just said is that the whole hand raising thing, that's something that we've seen across the board with a lot of kids, is that fear of speaking out because they're just not confident. That fear that, what if I'm wrong? What if I make a mistake? What's going to happen? Like, oh man, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of the entire class. I don't want to say something that's incorrect. And that fear really exists within a lot of children. And we do our work on our side to make sure that kids try growing out of that fear and growing more confident. Something that I've spoken to all of our wholesome family about, and I am a firm believer in, is that confidence is the most important thing. Literally, if you are confident in math, if you are confident in English, you are confident in yourself, in your speaking skills, you will do well in life. And I think that's something that needs to be talked about more. So Vidhi, from your experiences, why is confidence so important for these children, and really for everybody else as well, when it comes to being able to speak professionally or communicate well and have great conversations? Why is that so important?
Absolutely, Sunny. I strongly believe that confidence is the backbone of each one's personality. Like I said, picking back from where I left, in a given situation, right, when the teacher says, hey, you know what, uh, uh, Anil, I want you to, come and share your essay, which you've been working on. And this boy has worked on this essay. He knows it's great work, but because there is lack of belief and there is this disbelief, like I don't know if this is, written well. I know my peers are so smart. They're like all, wonderful writers. He's almost ready to get up from his seat, and then he holds himself back. And which is exactly where confidence plays a role. Having this ability to believe and trust in yourself that, you know what, I've written the best I can given my knowledge, given my expertise, and I should be happy sharing it. It is not about anybody else, it is about me. I think the other problem, Sunny, that I'm noticing having taught for 20 plus years now is this whole comparison thing that children are getting caught up in. And I'm
Yeah.
not blaming them. A competition is brutal. I've been teaching for about 18 years to the younger and to the high school population. I'm an high school coach, and I teach the top high schools in the state of Michigan. And competition in the last 7 or 8 years has just gone up crazy, where children are constantly doubting themselves. Is my essay good enough to be read about? Are my peers going to think it was crappy work? Is it really great? Are they going to judge me? They are so caught up in this, which is exactly what is holding them back from putting themselves out there. When the
Yes.
teacher says, hey, you could come up and do this math problem, and this is our fellow who probably goes to something like a wholesome family program where he got his math concept up there and is actually a genius there and could absolutely go up and do it there. But again, should I go up? What if I go there and freeze? What if I'm able to just do a couple of steps and that guy who's a topper in math starts judging me and thinks I'm dumb or stupid? And that is exactly where believing in yourself and feeling good about who you are and having this inside of you that, you know what, I offer a lot, I'm amazing, I bring a lot to the table, and I'm going to absolutely go out there and do this. My biggest concern, Sunny, is I tell students every day, it is not how it turns out. It is stepping up and taking the chance that is making you amazing. You could go up there and do two steps. For me, getting up from that chair and going up there is confidence. After two steps, if you kind of get a little, stuck, that's all right. But that step up that you have done is already adding up to your confidence box. And that's another feather in your cap. And these small steps is helping you strengthen up your confidence and is helping you take those steps further down. But that first step, even in doing one or two steps, or maybe just sharing two lines, is so, so important, right?
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
is where I strongly believe that belief, right? Only when I believe in myself, I'm going to display the math I know. Only when I believe in myself, let's say I'm part of this Wholesome Family English program and I've learned to write well and I've written this beautiful passage. But if I don't believe in myself, that passage stays in my book. And I want these kids to know what is here, nobody can see. You need to put it out there. You need people to listen to you, have you share, have you participate, engage. And your views could be very different compared to so many others, but so what?
Yeah.
And I tell them, I said, imagine if Einstein or Isaac Newton or Steve Jobs started, oh my God, what I'm thinking is so crazy. But thank God, I'm glad that they believed in that craziness. And because of which we have all this revolution in the technology with Apple iPhones and all other products and everything that Einstein has given the world, everything that Isaac Newton has given the world. In fact, I tell my kids, the crazier the idea, all the more reason to go and share it because every single second, brilliant ideas are going into the garbage can because there are people who are holding them back. But oh my God, it sounds crazy. Great. We need craziness around us because probably that's going to bring in the next new thing for us, right?
Absolutely.
And all of this boils down, Sunny, to confidence, right? Being able to say, this is what I think. And it's not about whether, see, this whole over analysis, is it right? Is it wrong? It's not about right or wrong. Just put it out there and share. If
Yeah.
it's wrong, that's why you have a teacher standing there. That's why we are sending our children to school, right? I mean, I don't need to tell any parent here that housing market depends on schools, right? I mean, I am living in an old house because the schools that my children go to are his high school is, at the second best high school in the state, and you can't find houses here. They're up in the market in the morning, they're gone by the afternoon. So you got to just go there with your eyes closed and get it. You got to be telling yourself that, you know what, I am here and I'm here to learn. I'm not supposed to know everything. And I think there is a lot of confidence, Sunny, in letting our kids know that you don't need to know everything. That's why you have
Yes.
teachers, you
Yeah.
have coaches, you have mentors. We're sending you to great schools. Go with an open mindset to learn, share what you know, and be willing to ask and feed your curiosity with what you don't know. That's
Yeah.
why we're sending you there. If you know everything and you're a genius, then what's the need to go to school? We're going there to learn. And we should have
Absolutely.
the freedom of making mistakes in the process of learning. And the earlier we teach our children that, the better it is.
Absolutely. So you said a lot of things that I really, really liked. And I'm really happy that you shared all of that. So first thing, you really spoke about competition, and I agree with you. In the past 10 years alone, competition has gone through the roof. I know here in our neighboring areas of northern New Jersey, Parsippany, Morris County, that area, there are a lot of competitive high schools coming into place now, where they accept only 40 kids or only 80 kids every year, and that competition just continues to brew. I love competition. I think from competition, greatness comes about. I also think that a lot of times we compare our kids and make them feel like crap about themselves. And I think it's really our job as educators and parents and coaches to help coach kids into not comparing themselves to others, but rather comparing themselves to who they were yesterday. And that's something that a lot of our wholesome family knows because I talk to your kids about that. It's not about comparing your kids to that kid over there or another student or whatever another kid is doing. It's great to keep a lookout for what other people are doing, but don't compare yourselves. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, and that is the only way you'll grow. When I was younger, I compared myself to everybody, and I didn't grow because I always felt terrible about myself. I was like, wow, that person got 100, or that person got this score on their SAT, and I didn't get this, and I'm less than. You're not less than. Confidence comes from believing in yourself, like you said. And in order to believe in yourself, you need to see the growth that you have already made, right? Whether it's speaking skills, public speaking skills, your math or your English skills, if you're working on it, you have already made that growth. And that positive reinforcement that we need to give our children, and also when we give that positive reinforcement to our children, they themselves in turn will give it to themselves, which is something that we need to focus on as educators, as coaches, as parents to doing for our kids. You also spoke a lot about really helping kids gain that confidence. I think it's okay to feel nervous, right? Like it's okay to feel those butterflies and those jitters and like, oh, like this is scary. Like I can't get in front of like it's okay to feel those feelings. It's about doing it anyways, right? It's about overcoming that fear. And that's what I'm so happy that you really work on with your kids is overcoming that fear to be able to speak. So let's get into some of the public speaking stuff that you do because I'm really, really interested in those things. And I know that a lot of parents are as well. So what are some of the major challenges that kids have when it comes to public speaking, and why do you think they have those challenges?
Sunny, that's a great question. If you look at statistics, public speaking is the second most intense fear after the fear of death. People say, I would rather die than speak. And when I started this in Michigan, I saw that there is a big gap where schools weren't doing anything to train kids in speaking well. And then in high school, suddenly they're expecting kids to make presentations in English class
Yeah,
and math class. And my thing is, hello, you haven't taught them these basics.
yeah,
And I personally feel speaking is such an essential skill. And the younger the child is, the easier it is to train them. And children are nervous because they have all these wonderful ideas because I mean, I'm amazed with the amount of information and the amount of talent that this generation brings in. I learn so much from them every single day. So they have all this information, Sunny. They don't know how to put it together. They don't know in a given time frame how do I, convey a message, make sure it's in complete speech. And speaking does make them very anxious and nervous. And I tell parents every single day, each child is confident in his or her own way, but there is a lot more confidence that can be infused and instilled. Speaking is something that can be taught with the help of tools and techniques. So, what I tell kids is the key here is we start with something very small, and I give them a little guideline that this is what I want you to talk about, and I want you to understand there has to be an opening and closing so that when you are done, people need to be like, I completely get what Sunny wanted to say, or I completely understand what Arav or Arush wanted to say. That is a message conveyed. And then there are other components of speaking which I give a lot of emphasis to. Sunny, my thinking has always been I've encouraged my children to speak without a note card in the hand. And when I started this, people would say, what are you saying, Vidhi? All schools allow them to use note cards. And why should they be going through the stress of memorizing? I've always believed a good speaker needs to be looking into his audience's eyes and speak. He needs to come across prepared. I mean, imagine if I sat here today and I'm reading off. My parents are going to say, well, does she not know her material? Is she unsure? That's exactly how your audience is going to feel. So I work with them in small steps. Let's teach you how to start small with maybe a small 50 to 60, maybe a minute worth of presentation. I give them a structure to follow. I tell them put an effort to memorize. And now when you stand properly, with, proper posture, shoulders in 90 degrees, and look your audience into the eye, which shows one, that you're absolutely excited. Two, that you know your stuff. And three is that you have something to convey that they're going to enjoy listening to. Maybe this is going to be great information. Maybe you're educating them. So step by step, Sunny, for me, speaking is not just content. It is the importance of eye contact, body language, expressions, making sure we teach them, as young as they are, the importance of voice and tone modulation. Where do you make your pitch assertive? Where would I kind of drop it down? Where would I, when I'm starting, how do I make sure there is an, inflection in tone where I'm showing excitement and energy and enthusiasm, right? All of this. And this is something that can be easily taught. High school is so much of speaking, and I'm not saying it's not in elementary and middle, but high school is not just your academics and GPA and ACT and SAT, but it is getting children involved in multiple clubs, whether it's debate or model UN or a business club, preparing our children for community outreach, preparing them for a job or an internship, because today colleges want to look at well-rounded children. And this has to be started really young as they can be, because they're so impressionable. We can actually get in there before their doors get too tightly closed, where they are open, and we kind of slowly introduce these components of speaking and get them into the groove by simple, small 1-minute presentations, make it 2 minutes, and work with them on every small aspect. Today, it's maybe the hand gestures. How much of it should we do and how important they are? Because I feel like what you're saying verbally is about 40%. I give 60% importance to your non-verbal cues, which is gestures, energy, voice and tone modulation, your expressions, where it's like watching a movie, right? Why do we enjoy watching movies? Because anger is portrayed like that. Humor is done in a humorous way. When there is like an intense emotion, that's why you're so hooked. You could do the same when you are sharing your stories. People should be mesmerized and shouldn't be even blinking their eyes when you speak. And that's what I strongly believe in. And we have some amazing, I've taken public speaking to the next level in the state of Michigan. So
That's
it's something that can be taught, and we can help children master this.
absolutely. I think that is really, really important. I'm so happy that you've broken it down to a science. So I think as something that I'm so happy about with your program is that it really matches our principles. It really matches our what we really believe in with our students. How you said your speech should have an opening, a middle, and an ending. That's something that we work in all of our wholesome English classes. Your kids do their introductions, their body paragraphs, their conclusions. Speaking and writing really go hand in hand. Just with our fifth graders this week, we really worked on interjections and how to put interjections into our writing. And this is what gets me so excited with talking to you, is that you are the other side to our coin, right? Like we are working on the writing and you're working on the presentation of that writing. And that's why I love your program so much. Something that I've been thinking about a lot and talking with a lot of my other friends that are in the education world is that it's becoming, especially with the job markets and all of these types of things, it's becoming less and less about the grades in the school that you've gone to and more about the experience and how you're able to present yourself well, right? So when parents focus solely on their child's English and math skills, it's wonderful. I love that. Like, that's what I'm here for, to help your kids grow academically, be more confident in that area. But that's only up until the end of high school, maybe the end of college, maybe the end of their master's degree. They still have 60 years to go after that. And that's real life, right? And that's what we really need to prepare our kids for, is real life. And that's what we try to do at Wholesome Learning, and bring that into the English and math programs to help them grow in those ways. But you're focusing on that, is helping them become more confident for their life. And that is what makes me really, really happy. And I'm so happy that you're doing it. So I think a lot of parents have this question about, and you touched about this a little bit, about getting kids involved in clubs and all these different organizations when they're in school. How can parents get their kids to do public speaking at home? Are there any events that you know of, or any national events or statewide events that children can participate in to really grow their communication skills?
Absolutely, Sunny. So, of course, step one is children are more scared of speaking if they don't know how it works. But introducing them to a program like mine or any other one where we're giving them the basic structure of speaking. And I'm going to take a step back here and Sunny say that you are only going to be able to speak well when you feel confident, which means when you believe that you can. And like you very correctly said, the beauty is when I have to put something together and speak, a program like yours, which is teaching children how to write, effectively and put those thoughts, your thoughts could be all over the place, but how do I kind of condense them and put them together in a precise and effective manner so that it's ready? And now when I'm going to present this, it is a message conveyed. So writing and speaking actually beautifully go hand in hand. So my students automatically, get better writers, and thank God, I mean, you do such a wonderful writing program, which I'm sure is already helping all the Wholesome Family students, write well in terms of grammar, structure. So they could first get into a basic program which introduces them and eases them into some basic speaking. Once there is that comfort and the confidence is built in, there are multiple things that children can do. Some middle schools offer clubs like forensics. Forensics is a wonderful, nationally acclaimed speaking club. Both my children did it all through middle school. My older one, in fact, did it all 4 years in high school as well. I would definitely recommend that as a wonderful platform. Something that I would also recommend is looking into debate. I train my students in debate once they've gone through the basics of, my public speaking and confidence program, which is my baseline program. And once they're into the groove of speaking, I do a very, specialized debate program in the summer. Debate not only gets you into, persuasive speaking and teaching you how to kind of stand up to your views and your pointers, but it also gives students an opportunity to research into current affairs and topics. Like it could be, do you think we want to make college education free? And is that going to help? Or do you think, the drinking age needs to be brought down to 18? Because a lot of college students are doing that any which ways, though it's supposed to start on. So it actually, I put them under, topics which is giving them the platform to go and research and look into it. And now you're going to be speaking and probably, debating with an opposite team who probably has different views, but you are going to stand true to yours and they're going to stand true to theirs. So it is a combination of not just your speaking skills now, but your presence of mind. You've got to be witty and you've got to be holding on to what you believe in and be able to present that assertively. So debate is wonderful. Forensics is a great platform. There is a wonderful organization called North-South Foundation, which is available in about more than 46 states in the country.
Yeah.
I am the public speaking coach nationally for North-South Foundation. A lot of my students they volunteer for North-South Foundation, where a lot of kids, get trained. I do their national workshop every single year. That is another wonderful platform where public speaking competitions can be looked into. So, I mean, these are just a few suggestions, and I mean, I can keep going on and on, but these are definitely a few that we could have our kids engaged in. But like I said, Sunny, only when they've been introduced to some basics of how speaking works, because then their comfort is going to be more. When you just throw your child into a situation of doing something like this and they're not kind of well versed with it, sometimes it could work the other way around where the child could get too overwhelmed, where there are others who are probably aware of how it works and your child is not. And this could shut down doors where they're going to say, I'm never going to get into this again because my experience was not very, I felt very underprepared or embarrassed and I don't want to. So I always tell parents that, it's like starting off in a smaller pool before you throw your child into a pool that's 20 feet deep. So let's get them into the basics and let's, walk them through it and then expose them and give them various platforms where speaking could be explored.
For sure. Definitely, really, I think that's the best way to do it, is to start them off small and then build them up from there. I think a lot of times we throw our kids into speaking situations. I know myself as a kid, I went into a lot of speaking situations which I was very uncomfortable with, and it shut me down from wanting to speak. it only improved my anxiety. It only, or made it worse rather. It only made my anxiety worse. It only made me feel more nervous and anxious when I was around people. Thankfully, now I've grown out of that because I've exposed myself to it and gradually built myself up. But as a kid, whenever I was thrown into those types of situations, I felt really scared and I didn't want to do it again. So I think starting off small is the most important part. Wholesome parents, I know that you guys have a lot of questions. At the end, we're going to do a Q&A. And also I'm going to share these notes and also a recording of this as well once this is all over. So that way you guys have it, you guys can watch it over again, and we'll also have show notes as well. So I'll share that with you guys by the end of today. Another big part of what I really like what you do, and something that I was actually just speaking with one of our wholesome fathers, is the development of soft skills. I was actually just talking to him this week about this and the development of soft skills and why it's so important. And I know that your program also focuses on that, right? You don't only do public speaking, but you also have time management and organizational skills, and you have your debate and different classes like that. So why is it so important to build soft skills into our kids? And what are soft skills for everybody that doesn't know?
Absolutely. Soft skills are, basic life skills, Sunny, which in fact our children need more than they need anything else. And I completely understand the value of math, science, English. I completely agree. They are very important. But I also feel that having them to, giving our children the confidence to, when I've learned great math, but when I'm taking that test in school and I'm feeling a little anxious, my program actually has a segment on, it's very normal for children to feel anxious or overwhelmed, and even more now than ever because of the competition of keeping up grades and kind of having all this peer pressure. How do we teach our children to learn to manage their anxieties? It's a life skill, because not just now. I mean, my students ask me, Vidhi auntie, do you ever feel anxious? I'm like, oh my God, all the time. I said, sometimes when my son is taking his calculus test, I am nervous at home. Like, I hope he's doing it well because he's a
Yeah.
sophomore at high school. There are other times when I get nervous. So, but how do you learn to deal? Some anxiety is good because it pushes you to prepare. But problem begins when anxiety goes beyond control and now you don't know how to deal with it. How do we teach our children how to meet simple goals? The goal could be as simple as, I'm taking this test, vocab test in school, and my goal is to get 100%. Why is it some people meet their goals and some don't? Is it because this child is brilliant? No. It's because two things. One is this child believes in his goal, and two is he believes in his ability to do so. So goal setting is in fact a very detailed topic in my program. So you very correctly said, Sunny, public speaking is just something we do alongside, but these topics like goal setting, how do we teach our children how to set and meet their goals? And I personally feel this should be a topic taught in school. Why are we not
Yes.
teaching our children how to meet a simple goal like, I want to get that 100% on vocab test, or my goal is to be able to be in the top two of my class spelling bee? Is it doable? Absolutely. Do you need brilliance for it? No. You need a plan, you need a structure, you need to have that goal written down, and there are some other tools and techniques. Once you give that to the child, any child can meet his goal. And I'm telling you, when a goal is met, Sunny, now I'm feeling confident and I'm like, wow, I met that goal, I'm ready for the next. I tell people, setting goals is a constant process. It's an ongoing journey. It is not a destination. You never arrive. You finish one, you move on to the next one. Learning to tell our children, the next life skill I think is important in handling mistakes. We all make mistakes. I make them too, right? But now I have two choices. I can sit down and beat myself up on that mistake, or I can say, you know what? I know something has gone wrong. Let me analyze what caused this mistake. Let me get to the root cause of it, figure it out. And the commitment is to fix the cause and not make this mistake again. As long as I'm making a new mistake each time, there is no problem. Which means I tell my children, go out and explore, venture out, take chances in the process. If you make a mistake, I'm going to be proud of you, because anybody who's doing anything worthwhile is bound to make a mistake. When they tell me, auntie, I don't make mistakes, I'm more worried. I'm like, buddy, are you doing something worthwhile with your life? Are you taking chances? If you are bound to make mistakes. And I think the last one I want to touch upon is criticism. I think children have um, a tough time handling criticism. And I tell them it's not criticism, guys, it's feedback. And feedback is essential. You're not going to progress in life if you've not learned to handle feedback well. And it comes from two major sources, your parents and your wonderful teachers. And both of them care for you, love for you, you know. And if you don't take their feedback in well, you are going to stay where you are. You're going to keep making the same mistakes. And that is a worry. So I think these skills are, I call these life skills because learning to set and meet your goals, not putting yourself down when you make a mistake, instead telling yourself, great, I've made a mistake, but I'm going to learn from it and move on. I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I know I got feedback from my dad that I've done very poorly on this, science test, but it's great feedback. I did take it lightly. I did study last minute, but now I know what I need to work on. And thank God I have my parents and teachers who give me feedback. How do I learn to deal with anxiety? Anxiety is always going to be there, but we can give you techniques to deal with it. How do I deal with rejections? My friends rejected me in school. They didn't take me in this, group project I wanted, or I went out asking for money for my school and people said no. Well, welcome to the real world. This is what happens. But we've got to teach our children how to deal with rejections. So I think these 6 or 7 essential skills, which I think are key in helping our students becoming the best versions of themselves and maximizing their potential, I give a lot of emphasis to this, and I think they have to be taught early on. So I think these are very important, not just to do well, but to excel and to kind of meet all your goals and lead the life you've always wanted to. And it's very doable, and this can be taught.
Yes, absolutely. So I think goal setting is one of the most important things. We touch on it with all of our students. We work on it with them. We set our goals on a monthly basis. We have goal setting seminars. We teach kids how to set SMART goals. And the reason that we do this is because as a kid, I never learned how to set goals. It's not my parents' fault. It's not my school's fault. It's just at that time, that wasn't the emphasis. And it's such a powerful tool. For the past 3 years, I've been setting goals for myself and sticking to them. And that is the only thing that has really helped me grow. It's the only thing that's helped me grow. And how to overcome challenges is so important. I feel like a lot of times our kids will, or kids in general, hit a wall and they're like, oh, I can't do this. Like, this is not for me. Like, I'm not smart at this. And just in one of our last parent seminars, we just talked about the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And I'm happy that students are now growing in this direction of a growth mindset because it's important. It's important to have these skills and build these skills into kids at home. I wish I came to your program as a kid. I know a lot of parents say that about Wholesome and they're like, I really wish that I came to your program because I had all these challenges as a kid, and a lot of times kids still ask me like, hey, Mr. Sunny, like, do you feel nervous? Like, do you ever have anxiety whenever you're teaching class, or like whenever you make a mistake, how do you feel? And I was like, listen, like, I get it. Like, I feel those feelings, but we have to overcome those feelings. We have to manage those emotions because we're not robots. We're humans. We have emotions, we have feelings, and we have to learn how to manage those things. And I think that's really, really important to be able to do. And I'm happy that you're working on that with your kids because we need to have kids that grow up to go on to change the world, right? That is our purpose as educators. That is our purpose as parents. That is our purpose. So we need to make sure that we're doing that. We need to prepare them for more areas than just, math and English, which are very important, but, we want to prepare them for those areas as well. Yes.
So sorry to interrupt, Sunny. My parents is here, and I think I told them to come in at 11:30.
Yeah.
Is it all right to have them start speaking, and
Absolutely.
then I can continue because? And I'm
Absolutely.
sorry if this kind of breaks our flow, but he just sent me a private text.
Yeah,
So
of course.
Raghu and Sumana, if you guys are here, we can definitely have you start. If that's
What I could do is I can unpin my video and I will pin their video instead. So it'll be them
sure.
two, and then you can go through and ask them. We also have Dara here too.
Exactly.
Um, if everybody can just real quick, Tharav, if you could wave. Yeah, that's Tharav. His son is Sunday. He also comes here to Wholesome Learning, so he's really how I met Vidhi. So
Correct.
Sunday's doing great in our program, and I've heard awesome things through Tharav and Sunday about how he's doing in Vidhi's program as well. So we're going to introduce him and also the rest of the parents as well. So I'm going to
Yeah,
unpin.
Raghuram is here, so we could start with him if that's okay.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I could add all 3 spotlights? Awesome, nice. Okay, cool. Hi, Raghu. Oh, I have to unmute you. Give me 1 second. Yes.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate
It's pleasure. It's our pleasure again. Thank you, Vidhi. Thank you. No, we were hearing your discussion. It was just like deja vu. I mean, like, yeah, it's when we started with Vidhi almost like 6 years back. We were also just like new parents, right? Like, how is this going to be? And yeah, we can recollect every moment of our interactions with Vidhi and Shaman's, growing up under Vidhi's wings. It is so vivid in our mind, and I can go on and on just like you too, because it's a life experience, right?
Yeah.
So that's why. But again, just to keep it short, thanks again for sharing our experience. To be very honest, when the first day when we were to introduction, I mean, like, hey, how is this confidence can be taught, right? We all have, like, it should be inbuilt, right? I have the confidence either I get it or no, right? So, but then as we went through with Shaman's the first course of confidence building, we really realized that there is a very methodic way how Vidhi goes through. She gives excellent topics where kids discover themselves. That is the biggest part, because she doesn't teach, but actually she's like a coach where actually she allows the kids to discover by themselves. And talking about mistakes, right? So everybody go through mistake. When kids stand there and they talk about their mistakes and how they actually felt about it, I mean, that's just one example. So multiple like that. What we felt was that it is Vidhi is like a life coach. She actually installs many characters, which actually helps the kids to really learn by themselves and then face the whole world when they actually go into from elementary to middle school to high school, and then all the way to the college and beyond. What we felt was that again the topic, and also how she actually gives that opportunity and also time bound, because everybody has a lot of ideas, but how do you really crisply convey that in a very structured manner in the time manner? I mean, when the end of the confidence class, it's like 8 minutes to a speech, and without looking into a notes, talk about in front of 100+ crowd, it is mind blowing. And we were like, it's not going to happen. But then when we saw Shaman doing it, and like every other kid doing so great, we felt that this is amazing. And then that just it propels them. And then once you have a platform, then it's great. So again, thank you, Vidhi. It is amazing that what you did with Shamant and so many other kids. I mean, we always feel every kid is talented. Everybody is so much has to contribute to society, to them, explore. And what Vidhi does is just provide them the platform and make them believe that they can achieve, and whether the way how they actually accept criticism, how they see the criticism as not as something bad, but actually a way to move forward. And it's so many topics. Whether it is a time management, another great course that she actually runs, where how they actually prepare themselves for high school. And then the youth success, man. I mean, that's another dimension that actually gives many things. We as parents, we tell the kids, but then when Vidhi tells, that just goes into some different compartment of the brain, and then we wonder. I mean, we told you that last week, but then it is like, oh yeah, and then I mean, so she has that extra spark, connects well with the kids. One more last thing which I like, we always, every kid when they come, another one, right? So when you have a batch of 30 smart kids talking, sharing that, it actually, for every kid who is sitting in the class, they actually they hear from 30 different kids. So, and you're talking about in the entire course, they are hearing roughly 250 speeches. You don't get an opportunity outside world, such kind of thing. And then for those who actually come and present that, they would have rehearsed at least 50 times or 20 times. So amount of refinement happens when the kids listen that speech itself is an amazing opportunity for them to learn from others. And the, you know, the way how they confidence class, how you present it, body language, emotions, expressions. I mean, she has so many tips and tools that actually goes into them, and so that becomes they become a better presenter. And so I mean, I can go on and on, but that's, I know, you know, but that's, as a parent, I'm so grateful. Vidhi, you know, you have done amazing things with Shamant, and I've seen so many kids, you know, exploring themselves, becoming, achieving so many great things. And so again, thank you. I'm here if you need any, if you have any question, any doubt, please share. I mean, ask me as a parent. I can go and explain, you know, and share my perspective of how actually we did. Yeah, when Shamant was third grader, we put him under for the confidence class. Now he's eighth grader, and you know, we finished youth success also, and we see a great deal of improvement. And one last thing that I would say is every kid in Vidhi's class is scared of Vidhi, but then they love her so much. I'm like, how is that? It's a paradox, isn't it? I mean, some, you know, right? Being as a parent, kids, if they're scared, then they don't love, right? So, but this is amazing paradox. But that's what actually they see her as a coach, and they love her, they respect her, and they also see that, you know, when she says, it actually means a lot for them. So that's where they go along. So that's all I can actually share within the times. Again, thank you, Vidhi, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Raghu.
Yeah.
And you know, you correctly said, Sunny, I am a very tough coach. I'm known to be very tough, and people say this is probably, you know, a desi thing. No, it's just that I take this very seriously, Sunny.
Yeah.
For me, this is as important as anything else is, and I tell children this is not a filler class. If this class is in place, everything else will automatically fall in place. So I'm very time disciplined. I'm very particular about things getting done the way they should be. So yes, that is true. I mean, I am probably going to be a tough coach, but I've always believed you need a tough coach to pull the best out of you. I mean, if Michael Jordan's coach was not tough, he would have not been the legendary Michael Jordan he became. So I strongly believe in that. But thank you so much, Raghu. That means the world to me.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Raghu, thank you so much for sharing that. You made me even happier to meet Vidhi. So thank you. I'm happy that you've seen such a huge change in your child. That's a very important
Indeed.
and special experience that not everybody gets, but being a part of Vidhi's program gets you that. So I'm happy that you saw that.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So,
Thank you.
Vidhi, who's up next?
Does Shamant want to share his side, Raghu, or should we move on to our other parent? Is Shamant planning to share as well?
Yeah, he wants to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. You ready, bud?
Oh.
All right, Shamant.
Hi, Shamant.
I'm going to ask you to unmute, and you could unmute. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, and as you must have seen, I'm really keen to share my experience with Vidhi Aunty, because I mean, it's just such a huge experience, and it's like impacted my life at least like 30% of my life. Like it's a huge thing for me. And like, honestly, Vidhi Aunty has been like almost a third parent to me. Like, I mean, it's just a whole other level, and the connect that she has with us is amazing. Like how much she expects of us, and like she just has a lot of passion when she teaches us, and we feel that, and we want to put it out there too. We want to give our best too, and that's what motivates us to do our best in her class. And personally, like it's I mean, all her 3 courses that I've undergone have been a big game changer. First, it was confidence building. I came as a 3rd grader. It's been 6 years now. So yeah, when I came as a 3rd grader, I mean, honestly, I was just excited, I guess. And that's the thing so she teaches kids from third grade. And I mean, like, when I came as a third grader, I didn't have nervousness at all, almost, because I was just very young. And that confidence that she instilled in me came all the way throughout till now. And yeah, so I attended her confidence building class. That was amazing. And as my dad said, the topics that she gave was like, just made us realize that, yeah, we have to learn from our mistakes. We have to set our goals. Like, while we were writing our speeches before the deadline and keeping all that in mind, subconsciously we just started realizing that, yeah, mistakes are important to me. They mean the world to me, because that's what I do constantly, and I learn from it. And numerous important topics like that, goals and procrastination, which is like the biggest thing for students, and it always happens. And it's kind of like destiny, but I mean, it's that how we handle it and how we actually say that we say no to procrastination, because, and we can't just say no like that, but we need all the values that she instills in us to actually be strong throughout and do something about it. And then time management is something that my parents desperately needed me to go to, and it was something which I desperately needed to go to too. And it was really important to me, and it was so important because it was like, it helped me so much in school. It did more to me than school did to me, because that made the biggest impact on me. And it's not something that like anybody else, or it's not any common thing, or you don't usually get that kind of teaching. But I'm so lucky, and I'm grateful to be taught that from Vidyanti. And yeah, and just one more, a couple more actually. Feedback from her, criticism is just something which once in a lifetime. I mean, that is something which is so special about Vidyanti. And like, I remember going there, and in my first speech in confidence building, to be honest, I didn't really do well. And the feedback, she gives very honest feedback, and that people can call her tough, people can feel scared, but in the end, that's what changes you. That feedback tells you where exactly you are and what you need to improve on, and that's what you need, I feel. And that really brought most of her kids, almost all of her kids, to the level they are now. And I'm really grateful for that. And finally, success, which I took this previous summer. And that success strategies is kind of, I think, the perfect summary of all her courses and her teachings, because that has everything all together, and plus debate. So time management, of course, it's like that's a very intense program, and that program really prepares us the most. That brings it all together as a soup and tells us that this is what life is: time management, confidence, and deadlines, and actual tough stuff. So yeah, that really changed me inside, and my parents saw that, and as my dad told, they were kind of astonished, and they were, I mean, surprised, because I was just telling you that the other day. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it was Vidyanti who told me that this time. So that's how it came to me, and that's how it registered inside my brain. So I feel it's one of the most important things that happened to me, and her class is amazing.
Awesome.
Love you,
Rasham,
Shamant.
thank you so much for sharing that. So let me ask you a question. So you're ninth grade now? I gotta unmute. Hold on. Go ahead.
No, I'm in 8th grade, and I'm in Bowling right now. So
Okay.
yeah.
I gotta tell you, man. Look, coming on to something like this, speaking in front of like almost 50 other adults as an 8th grader. What are you, 12, 13?
And I'm actually 14 today. Today is my birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Everybody, let's give him a nice big happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Shamant.
Happy birthday, man. I gotta tell you, it's a daunting thing to come on and speak in front of a bunch of adults, man, and share your story like that. the confidence that you have, the way that you speak, your the way that you're able to adjust your tonality while you communicate is so important. And I feel like if you as an eighth grader can have these qualities can be built into our children. And I'm happy that you're going to a program like this, man. Like, you are going to grow so far past anybody because you are confident in yourself and you are going to continue improving in your life. I'm so proud. Like, I don't even know you, but I am so proud of you, man. Like, you're doing great. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Thank you so
Keep
much.
it up. Okay. Sounds good. So thank you so much for sharing that, buddy. Who's the next person, Vidhi? Is it Darav?
Yeah, if he wants to share a few words, that would be
Yep.
great. And then I can talk about my schedule and what's coming up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shama, thank you for sharing. Happy birthday, man. Okay.
Happy birthday, Shaman.
Darav, I'm going to spotlight your video. Okay. Hey, Darav, nice to see you. Everybody, this is Darav. Darav is also Darav's son. Sunday is also part of the Wholesome English program here with us at Wholesome Learning. He's definitely improved in his English skills, and he's also how I was introduced to Vidhi Ben as well. So thank you so much for introducing me to her. What are some of your experiences that you've seen and gone through? Dara, we can hear you. There's a humming sound coming through. I'll unmute again.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's much better. Much better. Thank you.
Okay. So I wanted to just take this opportunity to tell everyone, as we have, my son is a Wholesome family member, and he goes to Vidhi Ben's class as well in Finesse. I will say one thing. I see the growth in Sunay from where he was 2 years ago when he started with Vidhi Ben and now. He has so much more confidence in himself. He never participated in class. He was always a bit reserved in class. He didn't know. He may know a lot of things, but he kept it internal to himself. I think after going through the confidence building class, I noticed he started participating a lot more in class, taking ownership, doing a lot of things that Vidhi Ben would preach to him in his public speaking and conference class. And though he is still early on in his career with Vidhi Ben, I know I've seen a huge stride and change in him, and I do see the benefits. And I was one that was kind of hesitant, and Vidhi Ben had to talk me off the ledge a couple of times herself, because I was like, oh, I don't want to overwhelm him. I don't know if he's ready for it. She said, trust me, out of. He absolutely is ready for it. I was able to deflect her for a year, but she was persistent. And I definitely regret not. I could have had that a year earlier, and he would have been further along. But either way, seeing what Sunay has done in the 2 years with Vidhi Ben is unbelievable. He's in 6th grade now. The constant feedback I get from his teachers he's always active and participating and confident in his answers. Even if he's wrong, he takes the feedback that he gets and applies it next time. And that's something that the other student and the parent also said, that her feedback is more of as a coach. And we have a running joke in our house and on fear of Vidhi Ben. Sunay always tells his younger sister, because she's a bit mischievous, and I'll wait till you get to Vidhi Auntie's class, because then she's gonna straighten you out. So these are things that I feel Sunay has learned, and the growth of him becoming a better, well-rounded person. I feel to harp on the different topics as well. Sunay talked about. I think recently he did a competition where the topic was donors. Why do organ donors?
Yes.
Why do organ donors their preferences, and is it okay if the president of the United States or someone important jumped that line over a normal person? And it made him think outside the box, and he did the research on what the minimum requirements for being an organ donor, all on his own. And that is just growth for me. Whether I know he didn't do that great in the speaking event itself, but just the knowledge he retained from that event to me is great, because now he can have that conversation with anybody else. Just things that really then makes you look into, and it's just an amazing program. He's done time management, and he'll be the first to admit it. He doesn't do it regularly, but when he does do it, he sees a positive thing. He goes, "Dad, why don't I do this often?" I said, "I don't know, Sunday. You tell me." Like, I'm like, you should make this like your thing. He goes, "I forget." I'm like, well, but he's a sixth grader, so I talk it up to him being a sixth grader. But I'm hoping he persists. And last thing I want to say, all the parents on the call, is not only did he grow, but I feel my wife and I have grown, because we sit through these events and actually take a lot of what she says in our day-to-day life. I've become a better speaker. I've become a better presenter at work. And it because I went to school here. I was born and raised here. I didn't have these opportunities for me to be taking these kind of classes. My parents were immigrants, obviously, but I feel in the last year, sitting through the confidence building and time management class, my wife has, as a PM, she has grown significantly in her time management. So she, when Sunday was going to the time management, she was the first one to say, "Nope, I'm going to that." I said, "Okay, fine." and so there's a lot for everyone to gain from what Vidi Ben, preaches as a coach, and both Sunny and Vidi Ben are coaches. And lastly, I want to say, there's a lot of synergies between what Vidi Ben preaches and what Sunny preaches, and all the teachers that also preach. And Sunny is the first to tell you that it's repetition, because he's like, well, the goal setting, the managing of your time, things like that Sunny, he's like, oh, wait a minute, Vidi Auntie told me that. So there's a lot of synergies and growth opportunities for everyone there as well. So when I did hear that from Sunny, I took the opportunity to introduce Vidi Ben and Sunny so that they can, hopefully grow together.
Thank you so much. That's been the best thing
you.
you've done, Tarav. And hopefully together, as with the Wholesome Family and Finesse Academy, we'll do wonders together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for introducing us.
Very kind. Thank you.
It's and Dharav, you're right. Like, I think seeing Sunday's development, especially in the past 2 months, just yesterday when he was in class, he told us another student, he was like, "I disagree with that. I think it's this." He didn't say it rudely. He wasn't mean. He wasn't like trying to tear another student down, but he was like, "I disagree. I think it could be done like this." And just hearing him say that, I was blown away, because most times kids are just afraid to speak their minds. And he was in with a new group of kids too. Like, he hadn't worked closely with those kids before, and he was able to confidently say that to another student. And that's a life skill that we need to teach our kids, and he's just bringing it about from himself. And I'm happy that both Vidya and I teach similar things, just in different arenas, to help kids grow. And that's how we're able to help Sunday together, which is an awesome thing to be able to do. So Dharav, thank you so much for coming on and making this connection. I really appreciate it. Awesome. All right. Okay. So the next part of what we're going to be doing, everybody, Vidya, do we have anybody else to share?
No, I just wanted to kind of share my schedule if that's what's on the agenda right now.
Absolutely. Yes. So next up, parents, what we can do is we are going to go over Finesse Academy. Vidya's going to speak about it a little bit. She's going to tell you about what she does and what her schedule looks like. So I will have Vidya take over from here. So I'm just going to remove the spotlight. Here we are.
Thank you so much. And parents, thank you for hanging in there patiently. I know it's been a little above an hour. Couple of things, right? I have, in fact, my winter session begins next week. And it is a program that runs, the main program I'm going to talk about is the confidence in public speaking, because time management and study skills, the reason I didn't dive too much into it is it is not open to new kids. It is a program where prerequisite is doing the confidence in public speaking. So my session, the winter session begins in fact next week, which is great timing. I do have spots available in my Friday 5:30 to 7 and my Sunday 1 to 2:30. The rest of them are kind of closed because given, it's the first time in 21 years, last fall due to the pandemic, I started teaching online, which is what opened up doors to people coming in from all over. And it's amazing to see that people in Michigan told their friends and family and their cousins. And now I have people from California, Houston, Dallas, all over, from Singapore, from India. So of course, you could definitely, for a limited, to kind of accommodate this online teaching, we have brought the strength down to 15 kids a session. There is a Friday 5:30 to 7. There is a Sunday 1 to 2:30. But if we have enough interest coming in from the wholesome family, I'm very open to doing a session specifically for our kids from the wholesome family, and a Tuesday evening or a Thursday evening as well would work, because I have some sessions that just ended this week. So those slots would open out and we could definitely look at doing Tuesday and Thursday. And for those who want to get into a few spots that I have remaining in my Friday or Sunday, that is an option as well. Every class is 90 minutes long. We are looking at 10 classes. Starting from the next week, we're looking at mid-April. Every class is power-packed with a lot of my teaching, inspiration, and open forum discussion. And starting class 2, children would be given topics to speak on, and there is a structure given out. As soon as they're done talking, I give them feedback right there, which they write down, and their goal is for their next speech to kind of start working on, suggestions and feedback that's been given out this time. And slowly, as they keep doing it, we see, the progress going up, and that's pretty much how it works. Like I said, it is a program that will not only help your students become more confident, because like I said, confidence can be infused, but will strengthen up their self-esteem. I think it is so important. I see a lot of children these days, due to the peer pressure, due to the comparisons, that the self-esteem is also taking a dip. And I feel like if the child doesn't feel good inside and is miserable, good things cannot happen to them. So self-esteem is a separate topic that I teach them. It is important that we teach our children to take pride in who they are and feel good about who they are, irrespective of what they offer, what they are good at, because each child is different. Everybody's start line is different, and we want each child to feel amazing and fantastic about who he is, and irrespective of his background and what he achieves. So this is all covered through the confidence building and public speaking program, which is my most popular program, and which starts next week. So pretty much, Sunny, that's my schedule. And I think now we should open the floor to questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
That parents may have. And
Absolutely.
I would also appreciate parents, meanwhile, if you don't mind, on a private chat to me, if you can start putting in your name and cell phone numbers, I would be able to collect that information once we are done. And that would be a great way for me to send you a little thank you for taking your time today. And then, for those who are interested, we could also send in the registration link from there. But if people don't mind putting in their information on a chat to me, your name and your cell phone, that would be great. I would really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll give parents a few moments to do that. So parents, if you click down below the chat button, and then when it says, where it says to, don't click click everybody, and then you could just search for Vidhi's name. So just type in VIDHI, and her name will pop up and you'll see co-host next to that. Just click her name, and then you can put in your name and also your phone number, and that's how she will get in touch with you. And she'll get in touch with you directly and send you more information about her program, and then getting set up with that. So parents, remember, she's starting up again next week. So there are very limited spots available for this. If you really want this for your kids, you really want to help them grow, I suggest doing this. I don't refer people too often because I want to make sure that I'm referring the right people and Vidhi's the right person.
Thank you so much, Sonny. Parents, be rest assured, this is passion for me. I've spent my life doing this, and I strongly believe our kids are blessed. They have the hard work right in the roots because of the wonderful parents we see at home. Once we package them with these wonderful skills, trust me, there is no stopping them. I joke with my husband every single day that 10 years from now, I want the next Satish Nadella and the next Kamala Harris and the next Sundar Pichai to come out of Finesse Academy. And I'm very sure we are getting there. It is just a matter of time, and we're going to work together as a team. I highly encourage at least one parent attending the class. I'm telling you, if you are there, you are going to be able to give them a little more handholding and support in doing even better in my program. If both can sit, that is wonderful. But one for sure, like Saurav said, like Shaman's family said, I highly encourage doing that. So that would be great. And trust me, I have no intention of sending your phone numbers anywhere else or kind of, harass you. But I love connecting with people like that. So that's why I prefer cell phones versus using emails. So please don't get stressed at all sharing that info with me. People have asked on the chat, what is the question? What are the charges? Well, it's a very reasonably charged program. I charge $250 for 10 classes. So from the end of January to whatever mid-April point we go, it is going to be $250 for all the 10 classes, 90 minutes each. And a lot of people have put in their information. If we have more interest, I'm open to starting a Tuesday evening or a Thursday evening, just especially for the wholesome family. And that is definitely doable.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you guys take this. I hope you guys take this opportunity to really help your kids out. I've just by seeing the being a speech on that competition, I wish I could hop into a time machine and go back and produce myself to a younger version of me and come to your classes, because I definitely needed that as a kid. And for $250 for 10 classes, like that's for your child's confidence, that's nothing. To really help them grow and improve, it's a worthwhile investment to help them grow. So thank you so much for sharing that, Vidhi. So I hope parents are messaging you. I can't see that on my end. Are you getting parent messages through?
Yes. And then I can take questions as well, guys. I mean, instead of putting it on the chat, I would really appreciate if you don't mind unmuting yourself and asking me those, and I'm happy answering those as well.
So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go to the participants. I'm going to mute everybody, but now you guys will be able to unmute yourselves. And I'm also going to switch from this speaker view to gallery view so we can see all of your wonderful faces. And yeah, so I think, see everybody. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Sunny. Thank you
Hello.
for this fab session, both of you, Vidhi and Sunny.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask a question, which I think somebody already did on the chat, was what is the starting age?
I would, like I said, Shaman was the first third grader I taught 5.5 years back. But children as young as third grade could start. And like I said, the younger they are, it is much easier to work with younger kids. I'm in high school coach and I spend my weekdays daytime at high school. And I can't tell you how difficult it is to work with 15, 16-year-olds because they already have solidified preconceived notions and I still train them, but it's harder to get through them versus my 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds are much easier to work with. And, I strongly believe these skills need time and practice. I tell my parents, let's do it from the age of third or fourth grade and get them all prepared and up so that when they get into high school, they have their speaking skills in place. They've learned to communicate well. They've learned to network well. They've learned to become go-getters. My ultimate goal is making these kids go-getters. The first thing I tell them in my class one is there is nothing like next time in life. What is in front of you is what I want you to grab. I said, I made mistakes in life and I said, I'll do this later. And that later never came. Life is so, it's crazy, right? I mean, you don't know if that opportunity is ever coming back. So I want to tell these young kids, just go out there and do it, man. Don't worry on how it turns out. Even just being able to do it at the surface, you kind of tell yourself, wow, this wasn't that bad. I'm so glad I took that chance. And trust me, you would be able to do it even better the next time. But if you don't do it the first time, you will never figure out where you stand. So those are some key concepts that I'm very, very I kind of emphasize them every class. Do it just like the Nike slogan, just do it. There is nothing like next time. Can I go next time? I've seen so many children, right? I mean, sorry, I'm going a little off track where I tell them, okay, can you sing for me? I know you're taking awesome singing lessons. Auntie, can I do next time? I'm like, so you want auntie to wait till she sees you next time? Just sing, man. I mean, I don't know the S of singing. Whatever you sing for me is music to my ears. And that is the mindset I want these kids to have. We are wasting our money in singing, dancing, taekwondo, or whatever else these kids do if they can't be put on the spot to display those skills. You take them to a social setup. If they don't know anybody, they're hiding under their phones. Like, Mom, can I have your phone? No, go out and talk, man. These are people like you. They don't have two horns and a tail hanging behind them. Go out, talk. Hey, I'm from this school. Which school do you go to? What books do you read? Why do we have to hide under those phones? When my kids were younger, I mean, they didn't have a phone to begin with, but even now when we take them out, your phones have to be kept in that pocket. And I want you to interact and communicate and not hide behind those technology devices. Not at all. I'm anti-technology, to be honest. And I'm a little more conservative where I prefer talking to people versus even when my cousins wish me on Facebook, I'm like, can you pick up your phone and call, man? Why is it on Facebook? I mean, I'm just one of those people where I want these children to learn to interact and talk and share because growth happens when you interact with different people. Your growth stunts when you keep with the same people over and over and over again. So things like that.
Vidhi, I wanted to, another question I had was, what is the format? Because you're based in Michigan. So how will you be doing these lessons?
They're going to be done on the Zoom platform.
Okay. So Sunny, the one thing I wanted to tell you was, I was keen, but I don't want to be conflicting with the club lessons. And I see some of the timings are like that. So Vidhi, could you, when you do the sessions, will you, for the Wholesome Kids, do it at a time which is not conflicting?
Yes, correct. So, and that's why I'm saying I do have 2-3 spots left in my Friday 5:30 to 7. Anybody who wants to jump in, and my Sunday 1 to 2:30. The remaining 3 are sold out. But we could definitely pick up a Tuesday or a Thursday evening. I don't know how the schedule for each child at the Wholesome family works, and we could just club 10 or 12 of our kids and do a completely separate session, which would just be dedicated to the Wholesome family. And then that way you guys could tell me, this is where my child's program ends with the Wholesome class, and this is what is open. And then we could just get onto a consensus and pick a time that would work for everybody.
So Vidhi, what I'll do after this session, after everyone leaves, is I'll share our schedule over with you and also like what our timings look like. So then we can also pick a time that'll work well, because all the different parents come on different days for different times because of their kids' grade level or their subject that they're enrolled in. So I want to make sure that we do this together. So we have, thank you so much, Tanya, for asking those questions. We have another question. Oh, from Vivek. Vivek, yes, Vidhi's located in Michigan. The Zoom classes. By the way, though, I do want to say her Zoom classes are awesome. Just because they're Zoom classes doesn't mean they're not effective. Just like our Wholesome classes are effective English classes for your kids, her public speaking Zoom classes are awesome. If she was able to host an entire speaking competition with over 600 children in them, like you can imagine what it would be like with just 10 or 15 kids per class. So I know that it's very effective. Her classes are effective. How many students are in one class, Nimesh?
15. We brought the strength down. In an in-person class, it's about 20, but I've got it down to 15. And somebody is asking, I don't separate kids by age because I've strongly believed, having taught for so many years, everybody learns from everybody. So nobody gets separated by age. Siblings can definitely go into the same class. And guys, I'm very, very reasonably priced. So please don't ask me for a discount. I give my life when I'm teaching, and this is how up energy I am, even if I've taught 4 classes in the day. You know, the walls in your house are going to be shaking when I speak. That's the kind of passion I speak with. So I know somebody has asked that, and I completely respect you asking me that, but I'm very, very, very reasonably priced. So
I also I also think, just to add on to that, Vidya, is I also think that when quality comes along, and a lot of you parents know that we also don't offer discounts. And I think for such value that you're getting, I mean, you're getting Vidya as a life coach for your kids to help improve their confidence and their goal setting skills and help them improve in life. And 250 for 10 classes, that's nothing for a course to really help your kids grow. And just like you guys have all heard, that the difference is there. You know, she's making that difference in kids' lives.
Sunny, could you also share my cell phone? That way people who want
Yeah.
to contact me, I'm very happy doing a separate talk session with anybody who has more individualized questions. Sunny will post my cell phone. That's the best way to get in touch with me.
Yeah. Post
And
your website too.
I don't offer any trial classes. Somebody has asked that. Guys, I've spent my life doing this. I created a program with the needs and the gaps that I saw with the education system in this country. And it's a very, very well tried and tested program. The success is absolutely outstanding. I teach all 7 days of the week. I teach about 18 sessions. I have nobody working for me. And I still feel the same connection and the same excitement class after class. Trust me, you would be more than happy. And I've assured Sunny that not a single parent who comes through the Wholesome family would ever go back to Sunny and say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you connected me with this." No, you're going to be more than happy going through this program. Tarav has already shared his viewpoint. Shaman's family in Michigan has already shared, and I can give you as many testimonials as you need to. My older one is in college now. She's 20 years old. My younger one is in 10th grade. My older one was a nationally acclaimed speaker and has taken a complete scholarship to go to college. I also do college counseling for high school students, and I strongly believe that a good profile is all the skills that I teach them, because academics, I'm not worried. They're all going to do great. When you have people like Sunny working on their basic math and English and getting them into the great groove of math and English and all other classes, I'm not worried. I'm going to package them so well that they're going to make it to their dream destinations irrespective. So absolutely, don't even worry about it at all.
Yeah, I think that's the major reason that I decided to work with you in the first place. And I'm very, very particular in the people that I bring into the Wholesome family, because I want to make sure that whoever it is that comes into the Wholesome family to introduce their program has a quality program, because it's our children's benefit that matters. So definitely trust me when I did my research, and also made sure that Vidhi Ben was the perfect person for your kids. She's not just like a random coach that I found. She was somebody that actually means value for your kids to really help them grow. So yeah, I'm just sharing your contact information, email address, website, and phone number in the chat. So if anybody does want to get in touch with you, they do want to check out your website and more about your programs and curriculum, that's also there. You guys can check that stuff out. So I'm going to send that in the chat right now.
And parents, if you're forming a separate group, if one parent could just take the initiative to get, if you guys know each other, 7, 8 together, we could just separately talk on Zoom and figure out our day to get started. Because of course I will start getting in touch, but if some of you know each other, and Sonia, love what you said. Yes, this was pretty much a great overview of everything I do. So I love what you said on there, that this was the trial class. Absolutely, completely agree. So, if somebody can take that initiative, I would love that, and get in touch, and we will just meet up separately, and then we can just fix the day and time and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Another question, like how do you differentiate, or how do you
I can't hear that for some reason.
Rekha, we can't hear you clearly. You could.
How about now?
Yes.
Now it's better. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I was just trying to find out, like, if a kid is very beginner, like even less than a beginner, or very confident level is very, very low, versus a kid who is like, okay, sometimes confident, sometimes not confident, and all that, with all like 15 kids in the same class. How would you dedicate some extra time, or how would you differentiate? I mean, I know they learn from each other when they are in different levels, but that beginner or less than a beginner level kid should not lose the confidence. So how do you treat that kid versus how do you bring that kid up?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So, first of all, I want all parents to know this is not a program just for the shy, the quiet, or the introverts. Even if your child is extremely extroverted and very confident, each one is still going to take a lot from the class. A child who's confident will help them become, better leaders and more go-getters. For those who are shy and quiet, we will slowly, and answering your question, what I do is I give them a class or two to kind of warm up and see. But if I still feel that they're kind of hiding behind and they're not initiating, not sharing, not engaging, I will gently and find a very nice positive way to encourage and say, hey, Arav, I've not heard your viewpoint, or Sunny, let's find out how you feel about this. So I will slowly find ways to encourage them and put them on the spot to speak. And then they have to present their speech no matter what when there is a speech schedule. So that is another way they will slowly tune into speaking, right? And those are prepared speeches. So automatically when they're prepared, they feel a little more confident. But then as I see them not, taking the initiative, I will make sure I reach out to those who don't put their hand up and say, hey, I would love to hear you. And I would, I'm sure you have a great opinion there and we would all love to hear it. So I have my own ways and techniques of making sure every child feels involved and engaged, because the whole idea is to see growth in every child. Only thing what I tell parents is everybody's start point is going to be different. So this is not, math where we can say, okay, from E1, he's going to move to E2, or from E2. This is something where you will slowly see changes, but each child's change is going to be depending on where his or her start line is. So what we don't want to do is compare our kids to other kids in the class, because each one is going to have his own process of learning. I can tell you the way my process is, my words are definitely there in the back of their head. If it doesn't show up right away, sometimes parents have told me a year down the road that I can't tell you, Vidhi, suddenly now I'm seeing him speaking up and standing up for what he feels important. At some point when they realize what they're missing out by not speaking, by not asking, they are going to start using what they've learned. But I will make sure, even if the child is at a very basic level, he is constantly encouraged to share and participate and put on the spot to speak up. Be rest assured.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you, Rekha, for that question. Who else has a question? You guys can either put it in the chat or just ask it, unmute yourself and ask it. Anybody?
No more questions, parents?
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. All right. So if nobody has any more questions, this is the last time.
Just one question before Sunny, before we close, Vivek here.
Oh yeah, of course, Vivek, let's ask.
So Vidhi, let's say in your 1.5-hour class, you said children will get time to speak. They'll be given some topic. So how much time, let's say on an average, any kid would get your attention or would get time to speak?
So some classes are dedicated just to speeches. So every child will get to speak. We start with a small 1-minute speech, then it kind of becomes 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and slowly the timings go up. We go all the way till about 4:45, and still every child in that class will get to speak for 4 minutes and 45 seconds. We get a detailed, honest, upfront feedback, which will basically help them grow. So some classes are just dedicated to speaking. Some are a combination of my teaching, group interaction. So it's a mix. But whenever there is speaking, every child will get to speak the same amount, depending on what the length of the speech in that class is.
And if say, let's say a fourth grader, would you expect parents help to write the speeches for them, or just say kids can write whatever they want?
No, the child should write it. Parents can just make some simple suggestions in, hey, you know what, I would kind of cut down the story. Or, you've also had a similar experience in your, social studies class. Do you want to bring that up? Those are the only kind of suggestions. I want this to be their voice. You can never own up to a speech that you have not written. And that is the basic rule of public speaking, which 8 out of 10 people don't know. So let it be his or her voice. You can make suggestions to kind of fine tune it, but that doesn't mean you're writing his speech. In fact, I want them to become independent in their writing, and that is where a wonderful English program that the Wholesome Family is doing is going to play a big role. I've seen children become better writers through the program because now I've got to put my thoughts in that given time frame, which is so, so important. So I expect them to write their own speeches. It has to be their own voice. You can only own up to something you have written down.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Vivek. Thank you so much for that question. Manish, I know you have a question. Yes. We're still unable to hear you. Maybe type it in the chat and then I can ask it.
And Vijita, I can't hear you either. I know you said you cannot hear me. No, I cannot.
Yes, I think that's Manish. He's just typing it in the chat.
Sure.
Yes, so summer schedule. Manish is asking for that.
I haven't created one. I would be in a better situation to look into my summer schedule by end of April. I do a lot of my debate programs in the summer, which kind of occupies a lot of my time. Last summer was the first time I ever did an out-of-state online program. So I would be able to tell you that a little bit better in April. But once, and I'm going to make sure, before we completely shut down, that I take everybody's numbers, and please keep my number handy as well. So you could definitely get in touch with me sometime in April, which is when I come up with my summer schedule. And summer actually is twice a week. My regular fall and winter programs are always only once a week because I'm very tied up with my high school and the professionals training that I do as well. But summer is always twice a week. So we kind of pick 2 days. It's either a Monday, Wednesday, or I don't touch any weekends because weekend is a time where people like to take a family outing, or they're going camping, or they're going for a picnic or whatever. So it'll either be a Monday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, or something like that. But I still haven't, I've not reached that point yet. So it'll all depend on, I'm also long overdue to go to India. I couldn't go last year due to the COVID situation. So don't know yet how the summer is going to look, but I should have something in place by April.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. Anybody else have any other questions? Is that Trisha that has a question?
Mom, where did the stapler go?
No. No, I just wanted to say I want my daughter to join. So just let me know when. So I've already sent a message that I wanted to join, subject to no conflict with Wholesome classes. Perfect. You know, the one that you just spoke about, the one starting next week. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and I wouldn't wait at all. I mean, Friday and Sunday have just a few spots left. So those we can get in, we'll get in. And we'll form a completely separate group for the rest of our families. Okay. And if people have no more questions, I just want to, take this moment to thank Sunny and wholehearted thank Sunny. This means a lot to me. My goal is to make parents aware that there is something like this available. And trust me, there is nothing wrong with anybody who comes to me. A lot of times parents think, oh, but my child has no problem. Absolutely not. My own children went through my class when they were in 5th grade. And I just feel it kind of gave them an edge over many others because they could speak, they could ask, they could, if need be, debate, they could participate in classroom discussions. My daughter, researched as young as she was in high school. She had a paper published. She coordinated on her own with her doctors, with her research people. And that is how well I want to prepare these kids, that we missed out on all of this. But I want to make these kids independent. I want them to have the confidence to ask, share, to feel good about who they are, to meet all their goals, and basically make them winners in the competition of life. So thank you, Sunny. And I will do my best to bring the best out of every Wholesome Family child that comes to me. I'm sure most of you have been able to figure out, this is all I do 24/7. People have asked me, do you do anything else? No, this is my passion that I've converted into a profession, and I love what I'm doing. I enjoy working with kids. They keep me young and going. I'm sure Sav, I've already started figuring out how old is Vidhi. If her daughter is 20 years old. Not too old, guys. Got married early and young. And I'm a Jain, by the way. I'm a Gujarati Jain, married a Maharashtrian, so I can speak multiple languages. from Bombay, so obviously Hindi, Marathi is not an issue. And then a Jain from my mom's side. So all those Gujarati families out there, yes, and anybody else who's a Maharashtrian out there too. So thank you so much, parents, for hanging in there so patiently and listening to everything I had to say. But you have a wonderful mentor who can work with your child and bring the best out of him. Just take the opportunity. Thank you so much, Sunny.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vidhi, for being a part of this. Thank you, all the Wholesome family members, for being here. Remember, all we're going to be doing is just bringing you the best. And that is my goal, is to always bring you the best. I want to make sure that you have the resources that we never had as kids. I want to make sure that your kids have the opportunities that we may have never had as children. I want to make sure that your kids go on to change the world one day because they have that potential to do so. And working with us here at Wholesome and also working with programs like Vidhi's program, Finesse Academy, will definitely help motivate and bring that confidence that your child needs to be able to go out into the world and do something with it. So Vidhi, thank you so much for being a part of this. Wholesome family members, I love seeing you guys all the time. So thank you so much a part of this as well. If you guys have any further questions, you guys can direct your questions over to Vidhi. For those of you that expressed interest, Vidhi will be reaching out to all of you individually. And then Wholesome family members, those of you that do want to be a part of her program, please talk to your friends about it as well, especially your friends that are here at Wholesome, so that way you guys can set up times that work for you. And I'll also share the schedule with Vidhi once you guys all leave about our class.
And Sunny, if you can just hang in there, I'm going to start taking down the information. So
I'm here. All right, perfect. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you guys all later. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Tanya.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Vivek.